All right, guys, welcome in here to another edition of the Pony Pundits, powered by WagerTalk.com, as we get ready for that final leg of the Triple Crown Beauties here. It is called the Belmont Stakes, and it's going to be happening on Saturday. We won't have a Triple Crown winner, but still a ton of storylines, some very intriguing horses, and more importantly, some value on the board, at least we hope. And the two guys that are going to go ahead and point you in the right direction, they join me here now. And Marco D'Angelo and Sig both can be found at WagerTalk.com. But here we are, guys. Make sure you visit both of them. In fact, both of their pages. We've got some great opportunities for you to invest alongside with them. We'll tell you how that works here in just a minute. But Marco, let me start with you here, my friend. It's been a what feels like a forever situation here with this year's Triple Crown. Bob Baffert, is he staying? Is he going? Is he allowed in? Is he not allowed in? Medina Spirit, what did he give him? Who pissed in my hay? I mean, it's just been nuts here, Marco, it feels like, over the last month and a half. But we're here. It's Belmont time here, and looking forward to being a great race day.
Yeah, it does. And, you know, speaking of the Kentucky Derby, Joe, maybe we could get Bob Baffert on the show next year for the Kentucky Derby, because he won't be at the Kentucky Derby for the next 2 years. Well, that probably just ended any chance of getting Bob as a guest. But the situation being, we do have a new Kentucky Derby winner. Medina Spirit, the second sample, come back, confirmed positive in not real good for Mr. Baffert, because Churchill Downs did not waste any time. They issued him a 2-year suspension. Now, the bigger question's going to be what's going to happen moving forward. Are other jurisdictions going to respect the ban that he has in Kentucky and accept, and not accept entries from him? Or are we going to go to the paper trainer route, and Bob Baffert will no longer be down as trainer on most of these horses, and the second trainer will be the trainer, and, it's still going to be business as usual. We'll see what happens, but it's sure been a fun Triple Crown. Even though we don't have the potential for a Triple Crown this year, I actually think that this year's Belmont field is the best of the 3 races. I think there's 5 horses in this race. Of the 8 that I can make a case that could win the race, and be interesting breaking it down, see what my buddy Sig has to say.
Absolutely here. Belmont, no better way. We were kind of a little messed up there last year, Sig, of course, with the pandemic and all, but no better way to end the Triple Crown races than, of course, at the Belmont here. They will allow 11,000 fans in attendance for this year's Belmont Stakes. Any surprises as far as who's racing and who's not in this as we get ready for the 8-horse field on Saturday?
I wouldn't say there's any real surprises in there, Joe. There's a couple horses I'm surprised they entered in the Belmont Stakes. I mean, they haven't done much in their career so far to be Belmont eligible, or Belmont quality, I probably should say. But Marco is right. There are a number of horses. This is a tough field. And a lot of years we see a lot of horses will, if there is a Triple Crown on the line or so forth, skip the Belmont Stakes. It is a true test of champions, as they call it. It's going a mile and a half. Probably the only time that these horses in their career will go a mile and a half over a dirt course. And you really get to see who has the stamina. And a lot of it comes down to breeding and training. And there's a couple trainers in here. Pletcher's got 3 in here, and he's won this race numerous times. So he knows how to get a horse ready to go that mile and a half distance. It's going to be a really interesting race, and I'm looking forward to breaking it down.
All right. Well, guys, we're going to do like we normally do here with the Kentucky Derby, of course, in the Preakness. We're going to talk about some of the contenders and, of course, some of the live long shots that these gentlemen like in the Belmont. Before we do, a couple of opportunities I mentioned earlier for you to invest alongside both of these. Both of these gentlemen, and we'll start with Sig, who we've told you about his daily racing reports each and every show here. Now you have an opportunity to go ahead and grab the daily racing reports here. 30 days, in fact, you get all access. Look at that. How cool is that? 30 days, all access The Sig's horse racing reports, of course, are out by 9 a.m. Eastern time on race days. You can go get them right now, guys. $99. All the reports that Sig's releases, every track he handicaps over the next 30 days, all yours. What better way to get side by side with Sig's choices than right now, leading into the Belmont? Just $99. Visit Sig at WagerTalk.com. And, of course, Marco, you know we got NBA playoffs, right? We got Major League Baseball going. We got NHL playoffs. We got horse racing. Now you put it all together, you get an entire Saturday package. Not just Saturday. How about Sunday? All weekend plays for Marco, including everything on his card for the Belmont. Just $39. Just head over to Marco's page right now at WagerTalk.com. That's right. You can see the pages there. Visit Marco. Visit Sig, guys. Get on board, and let's make it one hell of a profitable weekend. All right, Marco. I'm going to start here with you first, because when we look at this 8-horse field, we want to talk about contenders right off the bat. And the first horse that pops out to me, number 2, Essential Quality here. So let's start with Essential Quality. Give me your thoughts about this horse and Belmont, and how does it fit in this race?
Well, he's the 2-to-1 morning line favorite, and he deserves to be the favorite. This is a horse that's really done nothing wrong. He did finish 4th in the Kentucky Derby, but if you go back and watch the incident at the beginning of the race, and I'm sure my partner in crime is going to talk about it, 2 horses collided coming out of the gate and caused problems. And it was Essential Quality. He was so eager to get out of the gate and win the Kentucky Derby that he took a turn and went right into Rock Your World and rocked him right out of the race. But it also hurt his momentum coming out of the gate as well. He didn't break as clean as he wanted to, and they had to use him to get him into position. And the position that they got was, well, we're going to ride this horse all the way around the track on the outside, and not only be on the outside, let's go an extra lane or 2 further to the outside. I think Luis Saez was hungry and was looking for the hot dog cart somewhere by the grandstand as far as he was out there, but he still finished 4th, beaten by just a length. Game effort. I think he deserves to be the favorite. Most likely horse to win the race. The big question is, can this horse get the distance of 1.5 miles? A lot of people point out his gait. He does have a quirky gait. He's not the smoothest gaited horse that you'll watch go on the track. And people question if that's going to be able to get him the 1.5 miles or not. You know what? He's done it his entire life that way. Don't worry about it. Don't try to fix it. If it ain't broke, don't fix it. Let him be himself. And I think he's going to get a cleaner trip from the 2-hole. He'll be able to break out of the gate. Saez can sit wherever he wants and make the move. I think he'll be close to the lead. I don't think he'll be on the lead. I think he'll be right at the lead and be able to go the 1.5 miles. If they're going slow fractions, he may take the lead. If they're going an honest pace, he'll sit right off whoever wants the lead.
Raced at in the Kentucky there, Sig. I do think he's got a better post position here than the number 14 that he had in the Kentucky Derby. Didn't race in the Preakness here. So what do you think about Essential Quality?
Frankly, I think Essential Quality is probably the best 3-year-old out there right now. I know that, yes, he finished 4th in the Derby. But as Marco said, I mean, there was the trouble coming out of the gate, running right in the Rock Your World. I think Rock Your World took the brunt of that, and it really affected his race. But Saez also hustled Essential Quality back up into position to recover from that and used a lot of energy and effort and stamina to get that horse into position here. If you go back and look at the Trackist data for the Kentucky Derby, he actually traveled more distance on that track than 17 of the 19 horses and 68 more feet than eventual winner Medina Spirit, who we now know is not the eventual winner, but he had to cover more ground and did it. Still finished only a length behind there. So if he gets a cleaner trip, works out a better ride, I think he definitely would have won that race there. I think we would have seen him at the Preakness instead of skipping the Preakness. So I think that's going to be an advantage to him, was skipping the Preakness here and coming into the Belmont Stakes. He is at Tappet. who has already sired 3 Belmont Stakes winners. The most recent was Tap Rit in 2018. Fletcher's trained a number of Belmont Stakes winners as well, most recently Tap Rit. And while Essential Quality is no longer undefeated, like I said, he's the best horse in this field on paper. And if he didn't have that gate trouble in the Derby, I think he would have won that Derby. He is the deserving favorite here, but I am going to be trying to beat him on Saturday. I would not be surprised at all, though, if he wins this race. He is built to win this race.
All right, there you go. That is number 2, guys, and Central Quality. We'll take a look at another contender here, and recency bias aside here, Rombauer, number 3 horse, and Sig, I'll come back to you here. Certainly wasn't near the front of the pack in the Preakness, that's for sure. But talk to us here, a 3-1 morning line. What do you think of Rombauer and Mike McCarthy and company doing 2 out of 3 this year?
I don't foresee 2 out of 3 happening here. It was a very impressive run in the Preakness for Rombauer here. But the biggest thing that jumps out at me immediately on this horse is that Flavian Pratt, who rode him to that Preakness victory, hopped off and is back on Hot Rod Charlie, who he rode in the Kentucky Derby. Now, I don't know if there was a prior arrangement with the connections or with the trainer that, hey, we're going to go to the Kentucky Derby. If we don't win, we're skipping the Preakness and we're going to the Belmont. We want you to sign on for both races here or what. But to me, it kind of stands out that the guy rode Rombauer in the Preakness, won the Preakness, and then hops off to another horse again. I don't feel too bad for Mike McCarthy, though, because he did pick up Hall of Famer John Velasquez to ride. I think Velasquez is going to keep Rombauer closer to the early pace, which they've had more success with recently. And while that Preakness one was impressive, he separated himself from the field in a stretch. This is going to be the toughest field that he's faced since last fall's Breeders' Cup Juvenile, where he finished 5th. While I think Rombauer is on the improve and that Preakness run was impressive, I think he's going to need to take another step forward to overtake Essential Quality, who he's been unable to defeat in both the Bluegrass Stakes and the Breeders' Cup Juvenile. I do expect him to be part of the exotics here, but I don't have him as a top win contender on my card.
All right, Marco, what do you think here? Rombauer at the distance. You got a jockey change, still 3-1. What do you think about Rombauer?
Rombauer is definitely a horse you got to use on your tickets. As Sig said, use them in the exactas and the tries. But I don't think he's going to win this race. And the reason for that, to me, is looking back at the Preakness now, it really wasn't that strong of a field. Yeah, we had Medina Spirit, the Kentucky Derby winner in there, but as we know, that's tainted and now disqualified. I just think that the race set up perfect. Medina Spirit obviously was going to be running clean in the Preakness, so didn't get the juiced up hay, so to speak, to run in the Preakness. And they went at fast pace. They went after Medina Spirit. They didn't let him get his way the way he had it in the Kentucky Derby. So consequently, with those horses, battling early on and everybody going for position, it did set up for a closer in the Preakness. And people think the Preakness, because it's the shortest of the 3 races, that it's not a race that you look for closers. But Rombauer, wasn't that far off the pace. He did come from behind, and he did it with authority. Now, the big thing is the jockey situation. Yes, John Velasquez is very capable of jumping up on this horse, but it'll be the first time he's done that. And you got to wonder what the reason was. As Sig said, there might have been a situation where he had already committed to Hot Rod Charlie for the Triple Crown races, no matter which ones he ran in. That is a possibility. But when you see a jockey jump horses, that is a big handicapping tool. And, he rode the horse that won the last race, and he's riding a horse that finished 3rd in the other race. I've got to go with follow the jockey, and I'm not going to put Rombauer on top. I'm not going to throw him off my tickets, but he's not my horse to win the Derby, or the Belmont, sorry.
Well, the Derby, you'd have been right about that as well. That's okay. We got one more contender for you we're going to take a look at here, guys. And then, of course, we'll move on to some of the live long shots. But Let's talk about Hot Rod Charlie, number 4 here, 7-2 morning line. And Marco, I'll come back to you. There is an awful lot of reports of this horse getting bigger, stronger. O'Neill says that the workouts, Doug O'Neill says his workouts have been great. You mentioned the jockey change, getting off of Rumbauer, Flavian Pratt now on Hot Rod Charlie. So when you put it all together, are we looking at a possible winner here?
Yeah, this could end up being the big steam horse on Saturday because he has been blossoming. Normally on the Triple Crown Trail, you know, it's not uncommon for horses to lose weight. It's grueling. You go all those prep races, and you know, Joe, how many did we do? I lost weight just doing the prep races. So imagine these horses. This is a spot that he needed that break, and the 5-week break for him is going to be good. If you remember, going into the Derby, this horse was coming off an impressive win. And I think the horse is just finding the ceiling now. We say it all the time with these young horses that only have 4 or 5 starts that we haven't seen their best effort yet. I think Hot Rod Charlie is going to show us his best effort on Saturday. This is a horse that if you go back to the Derby and watch it, although he did break from the gate, when they got to the turn and everybody was jockeying for position, he had tight quarters there where he had to check the horse a little bit. He didn't get him in the exact position that he wanted to get him at. Then he had to split horses when he was making his move. And then once he got in position for the stretch, he was in the battle between the 4 horses. Obviously, if there's 4 horses battling to the wire, there can only be 2 of them that are either on the inside and outside, and the other 2 are in the middle. And I've told you time and time again that when horses race game and they're one of the middle horses, you've got to put an asterisk on that and say that that is even better than it looked on paper because horses don't like tight quarters. I like Hot Rod Charlie here. I think he's a major contender in here. And it's 7-2. When we're looking at essential quality and looking at Hot Rod Charlie, I'm looking at a horse that are going to bring back $6 or a horse that's going to bring back $9. I don't think there's the $3 difference between these 2 horses in ability. And that tells me that Hot Rod Charlie is the better horse for my money. And as far as the distance goes, this horse should be able to get the distance of the 1.5 miles. And based on the morning workouts, and Doug O'Neill's not a trainer that's ever shy about talking about his horses. If you remember several years ago, not several, but a few years back, he had a horse in the Kentucky Derby that was named I'll Have Another. And, you know, they were chirping about that horse too. And his contingents made a little trip to Reno from California, and they put some money down. They crossed the border. Actually, they might have went to Mesquite, if I think back on it. And they put some money here in Nevada in the future book on I'll Have Another at a mammoth price. And that horse got, obviously, to the winner's circle. And they made, obviously, a big score winning the Kentucky Derby. But that barn likes to bet as well.
You know, the horse went, Sig, I believe, wire to wire in the Louisiana Derby and 3rd by a length there in the Kentucky Derby. Everyone's saying he's filled out. He's gotten better here. What do you think, though? Are we looking at the favorite by the time post time rolls around?
Well, Joe, I think Essential Quality will be your post time favorite, as he is your morning line favorite. And I mean, he's pretty much been the post time favorite for almost every race in his short career so far. But getting the Hot Rod Charlie, the thing that jumps out to me about this colt is when you look at the past performances, he's been very, very consistent ever since breaking his maiden last fall. He ran 3rd in that Kentucky Derby, but he was never able to post a serious challenge to Medina Spirit and Mandaloun. Like you said, he won that Louisiana Derby, but he did that in front-running fashion, taking him wire to wire. He ran 3rd by only a neck to Medina Spirit in the Robert Lewis at Santa Anita, and he was 2nd to Essential Quality in last fall's Breeders' Cup at a Breeders' Cup Juvenile at a big price, and that was 1 race after breaking his maiden. So, I mean, this colt's been on the improve ever since he broke his maiden last fall here. He's run with the best company in this 3-year-old dirt division, and he has held his own each time. I like the fact that he skipped the Preakness, so he should be fresh off a 5-week break. He had a 6-week break go in the Kentucky Derby off that Louisiana Derby win. But I do have a few concerns about Hot Rod Charlie. I don't like the fact that he shipped back to California after the Kentucky Derby to continue training at Santa Anita Park. If they knew they were going to skip the Preakness, I would have much rather seen them ship him up to Belmont and give him some runs over that track. They call it Big Sandy for a reason. It's a different surface than he'll see at most dirt surfaces. A little deeper, takes a little bit more for a horse to get going on that track and to keep going on that track. I would like to know how it suited him for his racing style. I do worry. I know Marco said he's not worried about it. I worry about the 2 additional furlongs. The Belmont is the test of champions for a reason. Doug O'Neill didn't leave. I'm sorry, the stalking style that Doug O'Neill has his horse running now didn't leave him enough gas to overtake the top 2 on Derby Day, and asking him for those 2 additional furlongs on Saturday may be asking a little too much. I love the Colts hard here, but I do have questions about him. I will have him on my tickets, but I don't have him down, in my opinion, as a serious win contender.
All right, there you got it, guys. Those are your 3 contenders there, 2, 3, and 4. When we come back, we'll talk about some live long shots in this race and what the guys think we might be looking here. And then, of course, they will share what their tickets are going to look like for this Belmont Stakes here. So we'll be back in just a second here on Wager Talk and Pony Pundits.
What's better than $2 Tuesday at Sports Memo? How about Freebie Friday? We can't go any lower than free, and each and every Friday we'll hand select a best bet from one of the hottest handicappers on the site and give it out for free. All you have to do is each and every Friday, head over to sportsmemo.com. The Freebie Friday will be listed on the homepage, and you'll be just a click away from a free bet.
All right, guys, welcome back in here. Pony Pundits, the Belmont edition here, powered, of course, by WagerTalk.com. Marco D'Angelo, Sig, I'm Joe Ranieri. Thank you very much for spending some time with us. Going to make it a great weekend. A lot going on, including, it's always fun anytime you're talking about the Belmont with 11,000 folks and fans going to be in attendance. So it is certainly going to be a much exciting weekend here. One that makes everything else feel like it's just getting a little bit back to normalcy here, which is great for everybody. We talked about 3 contenders in the last segment. Let's shift our focus to 3 of the live long shots here that you guys like. And we'll start with number 6, Known Agenda here, Marco. Do you have any idea, 9th at the Kentucky Derby? Speed seems to be a concern for a lot of folks here. Pletcher, Irad Ortiz, you got to love that combination. But at 6-1 here, are you a fan of Known Agenda in this race?
Yeah, Joe, I think Known Agenda has a big shot in this race. I'm completely getting the old magic pencil and drawing a line through the Kentucky Derby race. He had the 1 hole in the Kentucky Derby, and we talk all the time about the dreaded 1 hole, and I know they moved the gate out a little so it helps the 1. Well, when you're a horse that doesn't break well, and then you've got 19 horses in the race, and 18 of them want to get to the rail as quickly as possible, and you're already at the rail, well, guess what? It's like being in the front row at a concert when everybody just keeps pushing and pushing and pushing closer to the stage. What happens? You get squished, and that's what happened to Known Agenda. He ended up getting squished out of the hole that he wanted and ended up, instead of being mid-pack where he was hoping to be, he was racing from completely almost dead last. He was 17th out of the gate when they were rolling to get into that first turn. That race was over for him at that point. He wasn't going to make it up. They weren't going fast enough fractions for a horse to come from the clouds like that, but he still raced on game and finished 9th. He did pass several horses in the lane. Now, fast forward to Saturday at Belmont. Sig alluded to Belmont being known as Big Sandy, and it is. This is the different track surface. It is a tiring surface. It's a surface. It's a little bit deeper. It has a sand base to it, and it has those wide, big, sweeping turns. And the reason I mention those turns is because a lot of people think when you talk about horses and you talk about speed, there's horses that are called plotters, and they just go basically the same gear most of the, each fraction of the race, but they keep consistently going that. Known Agenda, once he gets out of the gate and gets situated, he is one of those type of horses. He does have a good brush that he'll use in the race to get him into contention, but I think the 1.5 miles will suit him. He trains on this track. This is home base for him. He knows this surface. The jockey that's riding him knows this track. And this is a track that you've got to be careful, jockeys, the first time they run in that 1.5 mile race. Too often they make their move heading into the final turn, which in a normal track, that's where you're making the move. Here, because these turns are so big and so wide, you do not want to make that move going into the turn. You want to be patient and wait. And he definitely has the jockey in IRAD that knows this track, and that will not be a problem. If there's home court advantage in horse racing, this horse has it being here. And the last thing, Todd Pletcher, we talked about Doug O'Neill being very vocal this week. That's Doug O'Neill. He always does that. He's not shy about talking about his horses and touting them if he likes them. Todd Pletcher's more low-key, but this week, in all of the interviews I've seen him do and read, he is very high on Known Agenda coming into this race. He's training super in the morning. Everything else that I just said about him, remember, going into the Derby, he was on a 2-race winning streak. And Joe, do you know what turned that horse around? He had an equipment change.
Blinkers!
Yes, sir, buddy. He had the blinkers on. Blinkers on. Let's go. And this is an 8-horse field. He's not going to be coming from 17th in the Belmont. He's got a big chance at a nice price to upset the apple cart at the Belmont.
Yeah, I mean, listen, he certainly, Sig, he's got the right trainer for this track and the right jockey, like Marco said, for this track. 30 starters for Pletcher. He's won it 3 times, 6 runner-ups here. What do you think about Known Agenda hitting the board?
Well, Joe, my colleague Marco there pretty much touched on everything I had notes-wise on this horse, but he is right. Known Agenda lost the Kentucky Derby, not on Derby day. He lost on the day they drew the post positions. Drawing that one spot was a total kill for him. He doesn't have the gate speed that some of the horses did, and he did basically get shut out coming out of the gate as everybody made their way down to the rail here. It's going to be a lot easier in an 8-horse field on Saturday with the 6 post. It's better. It's going to fit his style a lot better. I like the fact that he skipped the Preakness, shipped the Belmont, and has been training right up to this here. I love the fact that IRAD decided to stay aboard. I'm sure he had his choice of horses at a New York track for Belmont Stakes, and he stays aboard Known Agenda. He does have a nice connection with Pletcher, but Pletcher's got 3 horses in here. IRAD didn't have faith in this horse. He would have jumped ship, I'm sure. I expect him to be coming down the stretch late here, and I do think he's a serious threat to the top selections if they lock up in a speed battle early here. I think come post time, he's going to be north of 10-1 here, and I think he's definitely worth a win bet at prices like that here going into the gate. He'll be on all my exotic tickets. As his breeding says, he'll have no problem with this distance. And like I said, throw a couple bucks on him to win. If he gets north of 10-1, I give him a real big shot in this field.
All right. Well, you mentioned distance there, Sig. So I'm going to come back to you with our next live long shot horse to talk about. Number 7, Rock Your World here. Talk to me about this horse, because distance seems to be the question everybody has about Rock Your World. What do you think?
Well, Joe, if you guys remember, Rock Your World was my top Derby pick, and he basically lost the Derby coming out of the gate. He was a step slow, and the Central Quality made sure he was a step slower after that coming out of the gate. They do say, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. And I might be feeling shame on Saturday here, but I really expect Rock Your World to come up with a big effort here, and he is going to be my top selection here when we get the selections in the Belmont. I know it's, I'm not teasing it. I should be teasing it here. Medina Spirit actually got the Derby trip that I projected for Rock Your World. getting onto the lead and holding off all challengers here. A shorter field on Saturday is going to help that with getting out of the gate. But like Hot Rod Charlie, he did ship back to California following the Kentucky Derby. And while he's worked fast over his home track at Santa Anita, I would have liked to see a couple work or two at least over that Belmont surface. You're going to be getting nice odds on this colt after that Kentucky Derby performance on Saturday. And I do foresee Rosario taking them right to the front. But they're going to attempt to take a moderate pace in here. These are experienced jockeys. They know the Belmont is the test of a champion for a reason. Even if he gets to the front, he's not going to go fast. He's going to try to keep them at a slower, more moderate pace here and keep a lot in reserve on his horse. Remember, this is the colt that beat Medina Spirit in the Santa Anita Derby. And the unanswered question for me in the Kentucky Derby was, did Rosario ease up on him once he knew he had no shot in the Kentucky Derby? Everybody's going to look and say, well, he finished 17th and he did have a great run. Maybe he didn't ask him. I mean, watching the race, can't tell for sure, but I mean, he wasn't using up all the horse he could have been using up there. He wasn't asking him for more. So, I mean, this horse should have a nice break. He didn't have, even though he ran the Kentucky Derby, he didn't really run the Kentucky Derby. So he's had a real nice break leading up to this spot here. I'm going back to the well again. Rock Your World's going to be my top choice here in the race. I'm going to try to beat Essential Quality, who I expect to be very short odds, and he's going to be likely too short for me to win bet. I think we're going to see better than the 9-2 morning line on Rock Your World, and I'm going to ride him.
So, Marco, the question with Rock Your World, and I think most say that he's going to be the pace setter because that's the only way he's going to be able to win this race. So, what do you think? Does he get pushed? Do you like him in this spot? Is he going to be at the top of the board? How are you going to approach it?
Well, if Sig's riding him, he ain't getting a 1.5-mile distance. I'll tell you that right now.
It's a good point. It's a good point. It's a solid point. He's got a point, Sig. He's got a point. Yes.
The Rock Your World, full disclosure, that was my pick in the Derby as well. And, he was done out of the gate. And Sig does bring up a good point that, jockeys that are smart and realize the race is over, why cave a horse's ribs in, whipping the horse down the stretch and such to finish instead of 17th, you might finish 13th or 10th or 9th. You know what? You still get no money, okay? So that's a good point on Rock Your World. But the other 2 points that weren't answered, and I did like him in the Derby. We liked him coming off the Santa Anita performance in the Santa Anita Derby. But if you remember in that race, when he did beat Medina Spirit, they left him alone on the lead. All right. And they all said, oh, well, he's not going to go the distance. He's not going to get there. And they were waiting for him to come back to him. And he never came back to him. He had modest fractions, stole the race. That's what Medina Spirit did in the Kentucky Derby. That's not going to happen here. We saw in the Preakness, they weren't going to let a horse get a lead and slow the pace down, loose on the lead, and nobody contend. There's 3 horses in this race that are going to be near the front. That's going to be Rock Your World. That's going to be Hot Rod Charlie. And that's going to be Essential Quality right off their back. Hot Rod Charlie's not going to let Rock Your World dictate the pace freely. He's going to have to work for it. And that might, in the end, do both of these horses in and set the race up for Essential Quality. But I just didn't see enough out of Rock Your World. The other horses that had trouble with the start or got pinched did show effort at some point during the race. If you look at that race line, Rock Your World never really was a factor in the race. Granted, through the stretch, it's done. I get that. But he never really tried at any other point in the race either. Things didn't go his way. I'll have him on the bottom end of my exotics, but I don't have him on top. And if he does win the race, he's going to rock my world right to the curb.
Oh, no. All right. Well, then, listen, we got one more live long shot we're going to talk about here. And it is truly, guys, a live long shot here. When you look at number 8, Overtook, 20-1. This is Manny Franco, Todd Pletcher at it. We saw him, in the Peter Pan, at the Withers. Marco, I'll come back to you. I don't know. A couple of grade 3 performances. Is this in the same league as these other horses in this race that they'll be racing against? Or is it just, it's nice, but it's 20-1 for a reason?
He's 20-1 because he hasn't raced against the top flight horses. Now, that said, that's a big factor. He's got to really make a big jump on Saturday to do it. Can he? Well, I'm going to give you a few reasons why he can. First off, let's start with the trainer, Todd Pletcher. When it comes to the Belmont, this guy has the most success of anybody in the Belmont. He's saddled the most horses in the Belmont, and he's won this race, as you said, several times and finished second. The other point to look at is when you look down at the breeding on this horse, this is the best bred horse in the race. And he's bred both top and bottom to get the distance. Curlin, we know, is a good sire, one of the best in the business. I respect, I love the Curlins, I love the Tappets. These horses do very well, and they get the distance. They're bred for the classic distances. But look at the bottom side. And when I mention bottom side, that's the mare side. No disrespect to the females out there. I should say the better half. But the mare was bred by AP Indy. Okay, now you're going back a little bit farther, but AP Indy was an absolute warrior on the racetrack, and he has bred several sires, and he gets a ton of distance horses. This horse is bred to run all day long, so the 1.5 miles suits him perfectly. The third and final factor is because it is Todd Pletcher, where's home base? Home base is Belmont. He knows this track. He's used to this surface. He's raced his entire career in New York. He's only seen 2 tracks, Aqueduct and Belmont. This is a spot where if they go fast fractions up front, this is the best horse to be coming out of the clouds to get a piece of the try in exacta. And if they really get stupid, could upset the apple cart. I got to say, don't overlook Overtook.
Sig, he worked on that all week. So I hope you can come over the top of that and tell us, are we not going to overlook, or are you not going to overlook Overtook?
Going to overlook Overtook. Yeah, I don't think he's a live long shot here. His last race was a Peter Pan. I honestly think the connections are living in fantasy land with Peter Pan. He finished third in that race. He finished second in the Withers, the risk-taking. Honestly, this horse hasn't faced much leading up to this spot here, and this is going to be by far the toughest field he's ever faced. Like Marco said, he is a closer, and he does have the breeding here. The sire Curlin ran second in the Belmont Stakes, and then, like he said, the dam sire AP Indy won this race back in 1992. But I don't expect much early speed in here. Like I said, I think Rock Your Road's going to the front. I think you're going to have Essential Quality and Hot Rod Charlie sitting right off stalking him there. But these are smart jocks. They know it's a 1.5 miles, and they know how to win this race. They're going to get to the front. They're not going to go too fast on that front end, which isn't going to set this race up for a closer like Overtook. So I am going to overlook Overtook here. One thing Marco didn't mention, and it's one of his favorite angles, is Pletcher is adding blinkers to him. And Johnny V rode him last time in the Peter Pan. I wouldn't be surprised at all if Johnny V made the suggestion that this colt might need more focus. But I think the blinker's going to help. I think the experience is going to help him here going forward the rest of the summer and throughout the year. But I don't think Overtook is a serious win contender in here. I wouldn't be surprised at all, though, if he does pick up a piece at the bottom of your exotic tickets. But I think you have better options in the field. I'll probably have him on a few saver tickets and some superfectas in the 3rd and 4th spot. But I wouldn't project him for anything higher than that. And that's a long shot, in my opinion.
All right. Well, speaking of long shots here, guys, it should be noted that in the, I believe it was the last 14 non-Triple Crown editions here of the Belmont, only 3 favorites have crossed first there, and one happened to be last year with Tiz the Law, a Fleet Alex in 2005, and Points Given in 2001. Other than that, it's been pretty much long shots here for the Belmont. We'll see if that holds up true. We'll also check out whether or not the cards are going to match up these two gentlemen. They'll give you that next for the Belmont coming up here this Saturday. Pony Pundits here on WagerTalk.com. We'll be right back.
Sign up for the free WagerTalk text club to gain access to free plays and exclusive discounts. Just text WagerTalk to 33222 to sign up and get a $10 coupon to use on WagerTalk.com.
All right, guys, welcome back in here. Pony Pundits, the Belmont Stakes edition here, powered by WagerTalk.com. We are going to take a look at the cards now. We've gone over contenders. We've gone over long shots. And we are now going to go over, of course, who Marco will have on his card as well as Sig. And before we do that, guys, I do just want to remind you it's a great weekend of sports here, whether it be NBA playoffs, NHL playoffs, Major League Baseball, the Belmont Stakes, a huge weekend in racing all around the country. Couple of great ways for you to be able to partner with both these gentlemen. We'll start with Sig, of course. Right now, his daily racing reports, we have been telling you about them all for the last couple of months leading up into this Belmont. Those daily racing reports continue to deliver each and every race day by 9 a.m. All you have to do is head over to wt.buzz/Sig. That'll take you right to Sig's page, and wouldn't you know it, you net now a 30-day all-access horse racing report. Every one of his releases across every track that he handicaps over the next 30 days, all yours for just $99, guys. That is a great opportunity for you to diversify a little bit here, especially if you're new to horse racing. No better way than with Sig's daily racing report each race day by 9 a.m. Just visit his page at WagerTalk.com. And I can tell you beyond a shadow of a doubt, Marco is going to be locked and loaded, crushing it in the NBA all playoff long. Major League Baseball continuing to deliver for his clients as well as the NHL playoffs. Not to mention his entire Belmont card can be yours here. Full weekend, all access, including that Belmont package, just $39. All you got to do is head over to Marco's page at WagerTalk. And you will get every one of his releases this weekend across every sports. And he has absolutely been on fire, guys. So a great opportunity to partner with both of these gentlemen heading into this Belmont weekend. All right, it is now time to check out what Marco's got on his card here. And then, of course, whether or not Sig is going to laugh at him or he's going to match the horses, we're going to see what's going on. Marco, what is on your Belmont Stakes card this weekend?
Well, Joe, we talked about it, and I like number 4, Hot Rod Charlie. This is a horse that is game. If you go back and look at all of his races, the last 3 races in particular, raced tough in between horses in the Kentucky Derby, didn't get the trip that he wanted to be sitting closer to the lead, but was able to adjust and work out the trip. Got there, top of the lane, 4 horses across the track. You really can't fault any of them. They all race game to the wire. Then you go back, look at his easy win leading into the Derby. They put him on the front end, and he held off all challengers. But if you go back and look to his last race in California, and that's the race for me that got me on Hot Rod Charlie, put him on the radar for me, is he raced game in between 3. There was 3 horses. He was the middle horse. Any other horse would have just gave it up. That horse raced hard right to the wire. Yes, he got beat, but it was 3 horses in a head, Bob. I like the way this horse races. If he gets clear to the outside one time, he's going to take the race. He'll run him down. Now, my second horse is Essential Quality. This is the horse that is the most logical horse, but I'm looking for a price with Hot Rod Charlie. Essential Quality, 1 race he's lost in his career, and that was the Derby last time out. We talked about everything that went wrong, and he still finished 4th. Known Agenda, I gave you all the reasons for him. Home court advantage, everything else. The horses race better with blinkers. Throw out the Derby for what happened with the 1 hole. Then Rombauer, I'll be honest, I had it was almost a coin flip for the fourth horse between Ron Bauer and Hot Rod Charlie, or not Hot Rod Charlie, I'm sorry, Rock Your World. And I ended up going with Ron Bauer because this is a horse that is on in the improve. He is a horse that races. He's more versatile. He races off the pace. And the reason I bring that up is the problem with Rock Your World is if he doesn't get to the lead, I don't think this horse has a chance. And he's going to have to work to get to the lead. That's the difference. Ron Bauer is going to break and let the other horses do what they do. He'll do himself, which is sit off the pace. He'll make his move, close 8-horse field on a 1.5 mile race. He'll have plenty of time to make his move and time it and wait for the hole to open. He doesn't have to panic and go wide, to worry about getting locked in. 8-horse field, they'll be strung out on a 1.5 mile race. I like him to finish fourth. Those are my horses, 4, 2, 6, 3. Let's see what Sig has. Let me get my blinkers on. I
knew he was going blinkers. I knew it. I knew he was going blinkers on you, Sig. All right, 4, 2, 6, 3 from Marco. How about your card, Sig? What are you looking at here for the Belmont?
Oh, Joe, Marco and I normally match up pretty closely, but we are a lot different. Well, not a lot different today, but like he said, he flipped the coin. I mean, I never flip a coin. I come down, I make actually logical decisions when I look at it. Some of us just want to gamble and flip coins and pick their horses. I want to actually try to have logic behind my reasoning here. Like I said when I was talking about him during the live long shots, I think Rock Your World has a big race still in him here. I think he was ready for Derby Day to go that 1.25 miles, and when things didn't go his way, I think Rosario saved the horse. I think the horse is going to come in here well rested off of 2 months basically. He had the Santa Anita Derby the first weekend in April. He had the Kentucky Derby that first weekend in May, but we're drawing a line through that one. That race doesn't count. 8-horse field, he's going to get off to a better start here. I think Rosario does get him to the front. I don't think they're going to push him too much, so I think he's going to have that stamina in reserve to make that stretch run. I loved his run in the Santa Anita Derby after those 2 turf starts. He basically dominated out there, and that's not a track where anybody other than Bob Baffert really dominates those big stake races for 3-year-olds. So when he went out there and beat them, the Kentucky Derby winner, the pseudo Kentucky Derby winner, Medina Spirit, in the Santa Anita Derby, I think it was very impressive. I did use Essential Quality in my second spot. I think he's the top win contender in here, but price-wise, I can't play him on a win bet. I think he's definitely in the mix here. And like Marco said, when we do see that battle up front, I think Essential Quality is best set up to be closing into a faster early pace here. The more and more the week goes on, I really like Known Agenda to at least pick up a huge piece of this. I see him closing into this field. I think the stamina's there, and I think the early speed could set this up very well for him. And Hot Rod Charlie, like I said during my analysis in the contenders, he's been very versatile, but he's consistently been in the top on the tickets for these bigger races against this top quality horses in the 3-year-old division. I think Hot Rod Charlie is a horse to beat, and I think he's definitely going to be somewhere in the top 3 or 4 on the trifectas and superfectas here. I landed on 7-2-6-4 for Saturday.
Well. We got a very interesting day ahead of us, don't we, at the track? I can't wait to see who's going to be wearing the blinkers next. Should be an awful lot of fun here, guys. That's it. The Belmont coming up on Saturday. Do not forget here, guys, please. Head over to WagerTalk.com. Take advantage of both of the opportunities to partner with both Sig and his daily racing reports. 30 days. Get 30 days. Every racing report, just $99 right now. That's right. Every one of his releases across every track for the next 30 days, just $99. Visit Sig at wt.buzz/Sig. And, of course, Marco, nobody hotter right now, guys. NBA, MLB, NHL, and, of course, a full weekend of racing. All Marco selections yours just for $39. Make sure you take advantage by visiting Marco also at WagerTalk.com. All right, that does it, guys. The Belmont is just around the corner. Will we have a 2 out of 3 winner here for the Triple Crown? We'll see if Rumbauer can get it done. If not, we hope to have some very big tickets that we're going to talk about here next time on Pony Pundits, powered by WagerTalk.com. On behalf of Marco D'Angelo and Sig, guys, best of luck with your selections this week. We will talk to you again here on Pony Pundits. We'll see you then. Good luck.